Discobaybies, the unintentional vanguard of the modern age. An extended remix Generation X, those born roughly between 1961 and 1981, exists in a liminal space in our cultural narrative. Often overshadowed by the boomers and millennials, this in-between generation, the children of the disco ball, were instrumental in shaping the world we inhabit today. They are the bridge between the analog and digital, the last generation to experience a childhood untouched by the internet's omnipresence, yet the first to embrace its transformative power. Born under the mirror ball, a childhood of contradictions. Imagine a childhood where the airwaves crackled with the sounds of Donna Summer and Led Zeppelin, where Saturday mornings were a sacred ritual of cartoons and sugary cereal consumed in front of the television, and where playing outside until the streetlights flickered on was a non-negotiable part of the day. This was the world of the Discobaybies, a generation that came of age during a time of profound social and technological upheaval. They witnessed not only the rise and fall of disco, but the birth of hip-hop, the explosion of punk rock, and the new wave movement. They saw the first personal computers enter homes, experienced the magic of Atari and the dawn of video games, and witnessed the rise of cable television with its promise of endless entertainment. This was a generation that experienced both the freedom of a pre-internet world and the excitement of witnessing the birth of a new digital age. But this era wasn't all carefree fun and games. Gen X kids also grew up in the shadow of the Cold War, grappling with the ever-present threat of nuclear annihilation and the anxieties of a world teetering on the brink. They witnessed the rise of AIDS, the Challenger disaster, and the social unrest that marked the late 60s and 70s. This backdrop of uncertainty and change instilled in them a resilience and adaptability that would become their defining characteristic. More than latchkey kids, navigating a shifting landscape, Gen Xers were the original latchkey kids, often left to their own devices in an era of rising divorce rates and dual-income households. This fostered a fierce independence and a resourceful spirit. They learned to entertain themselves, solve problems, and navigate the world with minimal adult supervision. This self-reliance became ingrained in their DNA, shaping their approach to work, relationships, and life itself. But this generation wasn't just about self-sufficiency, they were also trailblazers. They embraced emerging technologies with an open mind, not just as consumers, but as creators and innovators. They built the first online communities, coded the first websites, and laid the foundation for the digital world we inhabit today. They were the first generation to truly understand the power of technology to connect people, share information, and transform the way we live and work. This innate understanding of technology's potential, coupled with their independent spirit, led them to question the traditional structures of work and success. They were the first generation to actively seek work-life balance, to prioritize personal fulfillment over climbing the corporate ladder. They embraced entrepreneurship, freelancing, and remote work long before these became mainstream trends. The art of subtle rebellion, redefining success. Despite their significant contributions, Generation X has often been overlooked, their achievements dismissed or attributed to other generations. This conspiracy of silence, whether intentional or not, has only fueled their rebellious spirit and their determination to forge their own path. Their revolution wasn't fought on the streets with placards and protests. It was waged in the subtle spaces of culture. They infiltrated institutions, challenged norms, and quietly reshaped the world around them. They championed work-life balance, embraced entrepreneurship, and redefined success on their own terms. This generation, raised on a steady diet of irony and cynicism, developed a unique ability to see through the facade of societal expectations. They rejected the notion that success was solely defined by material wealth and status, instead prioritizing personal growth, creative expression, and meaningful connections. Analog soul in a digital world, preserving authenticity. Gen Xers are often associated with nostalgia, but their affinity for the past isn't simply sentimentality. It's a deep-seated appreciation for authenticity, for the tangible, the human connection that seems increasingly rare in our hyper-connected world. They collect vinyl records not just for the music, but for the ritual of carefully placing the needle on the groove, for the crackle and pop that precedes the music, for the tangible connection to a bygone era. They cherish vintage video games, not just for the gameplay, but for the memories they evoke of simpler times spent with friends huddled around a flickering screen. They are the keepers of analog wisdom in a digital world, reminding us of the importance of disconnecting from the constant barrage of information, of spending time in nature, of engaging in face-to-face conversations. They understand that technology is a tool, not a replacement for human connection. The enduring legacy of the Disco Babies, a generation that bridges worlds. Generation X may be the forgotten generation, but their legacy is woven into the fabric of our modern world. They are the bridge builders, the cultural translators, the quiet revolutionaries who have shaped the 21st century in countless ways. They have taught us the importance of adaptability, the power of technology, and the value of human connection. They have shown us how to be both critical and compassionate, skeptical and hopeful. And they have reminded us that even in the face of constant change, there is always room for authenticity, creativity, and a healthy dose of rebellion. So let's raise a glass to the Disco Babies, the unsung heroes of the digital dawn. They may not have sought the spotlight, but their impact is undeniable. They are the ones who built the world we live in today, and their legacy will continue to shape the future for generations to come. They are the generation that danced under the disco ball, navigated the uncertainties of a changing world, and emerged as the architects of the digital age, forever bridging the gap between the analog and the digital, the past and the future. Posted by Crabtree.